media.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. Despite April Fool's jokes and what people might think I'm about to discuss, one of the major questions that's circling around the rumor mill, especially on Parliament Hill these days, is Justin Trudeau preparing to resign? We've seen tons of pressure coming out of Parliamentary Hill, out of the other parties, the oppositions, whether it's the Bloc, whether it's the Conservatives, even the NDP now starting to question whether or not they're going to support Justin Trudeau's new Liberal budget for 2024. Well, the pressure is surmounting. Premiers are starting to say that they can't work alongside him, that they can't get him to meet with them, to sit down and talk with them. And the problem with running a country is that when the knives come out, effectively you have to decide what you're going to do in order to calm the storm, because Justin Trudeau, of course, isn't the only person in charge of the Liberal Party. There are those that can demand his resignation. There are those that can push him out of the party, so to speak. And I feel that that's starting to approach, at least that's what the rumor mill is starting to say. And we're going to get into that right now. I want to show you guys a video coming over from a press conference Justin Trudeau had. Again, this is showing a little bit of the pressure that's going on with the other provinces. And again, you'll see how Trudeau kind of does his usual rhetoric, but he stumbles a little bit. And then we're going to get on to the rumor mill as to what is happening with Justin Trudeau.
Thank you. Last question.
Hi, Nathan MacArthur, CBC News. If we could get answers in English and French, please. The provinces have again written to you asking you to stop the overreach in areas of their jurisdiction and stop attaching conditions to funding. Can you explain why you're treading into provincial responsibilities so much? Is it because you don't believe the provinces are doing the jobs?
On the contrary, we have worked tremendously constructively with provinces over the past few years to deliver things that really matter for Canadians. Take $10 a day childcare. We move forward with historic agreements first signed here at BC to invest in an area that obviously is something that the province has primary carriage over. But we recognize that bringing down childcare prices for people across BC, supporting early childhood educators with better wage grid, and creating more spaces was something the federal government needed to engage in. So we showed up with a lot of money to help BC move forward on childcare. This is something that is great for families in BC, it's great for getting more women into the workforce, and it's great for young people who are doing better when they get to grade 1. These kinds of things are exactly the kind of things where we need to be doing more of. Now, there are certain conservative provinces that have resisted or objected to us showing up with childcare money, but I can tell you, families that I've spoken to right across the country, including in conservative provinces that wouldn't have invested in childcare if it hadn't been for the federal government choosing to step up, are deeply grateful. At the same time as mortgage rates went up for many, many families because of interest rates, they were saving thousands of dollars a month because we cut childcare fees in half. Our focus as a government is on working with provinces to deliver for Canadians. But in areas like the housing crisis, there are certain provinces that are upset. Again, not BC, which actually led the way with the BC Builds program, which we've actually adopted and said, okay, any province that wants to do like BC and put $2 billion towards affordable homes with the BC Builds program, we'll match that $2 billion and make sure that even more gets done. That's the way the Federation should be working. But when I hear provinces upset because we're signing deals with big cities, putting money in the city's coffers so that they can increase density, so they can build more homes faster, invest in affordability, I know that's what needs to happen. And provinces that are not being ambitious on housing, well, people in their provinces still deserve to have solutions to the housing crisis, even if the province doesn't want to step up with the same level of ambition. So I am unabashed about saying I am ambitious to solve problems for Canadians right across the country. I am ambitious about investing in solutions to make sure our economy is fair for every generation. I'm going to work where I can in partnership with provinces that want to, like BC and others have, and places where they want to block the kinds of investments that are going to help Canadians. I'm just going to try and figure out ways to help Canadians directly as necessary.
So I'm going to cut it right there because I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before. We're all sick of Justin Trudeau. We're all sick of hearing his voice. I don't like playing clips any more than you guys enjoy listening to them, but it's important to put perspective out there. And one of the things that he's doing here is essentially blaming others, as he always does, by segregating and dividing people. Once again, he's talking about how conservative provinces, they're the villains here. They don't want to take my money for 15-minute cities as a carrot on a stick in order to fall in line with my beliefs. Now, again, as I've referred before, I'll refer back to the previous videos that I did where Justin Trudeau sat down in Calgary to compare himself to the likes of Wayne Gretzky, to also sit and say that he has a design for Canada and that those who jump on board with his vision should benefit from those things and live a very prosperous life, while those who disagree with him should have a very difficult life, that he was going to make life more difficult for those people who don't want to get on board. Again, sounds very reminiscent of his campaign during the pandemic, where it was the old, you don't want to get on a plane or a train. These people are sexist, misogynist, they take up space. How do we tolerate them? Kind of rhetoric. Of course, you're going to see Justin Trudeau attack every party possible, blame everybody else except for himself when it comes to Canada's housing crisis. Of course, we understand that prices have already doubled under the 8 years of Justin Trudeau, that there's really no blame when it comes to other parties other than the lavish spending of the Liberal government. But of course, the pressure is surmounting, and this is one of the things I was getting to, is that the pressure obviously coming from provinces, coming from people, coming from parties within the House of Commons, all pushing Justin Trudeau, saying, you can keep making all the excuses you want. But at the end of the day, Justin Trudeau, if the party's going to go down with the ship, they're going to try to find another leader. Now, Dominic LeBlanc, longtime Liberal, has been rumored. And the rumors, from what I understand amongst the people that I speak to in media, the people that I talk to through Twitter, through other independent news outlets, have told me that there's heavy rumors going on, that there are plans going on in the background right now to oust Justin Trudeau, to demand his resignation before or shortly after they discover what goes on with the approval of the budget. Now, take this with a grain of salt. Because again, I know, guys, I can already hear you in the comments. I agree with you. Please don't think I'm fighting you when you say nothing's going to happen. It's going to be the same old. It may very well be the same old. But whether Dominic LeBlanc replaces Justin Trudeau, or whether Trudeau resigns, or whether Crystia Freeland takes his place until 2025, we're not getting out of this mess until we get rid of the Liberal Party. But it's going to be interesting to see, again, this is what I was talking about ever since the non-confidence vote, that you're essentially seeing a funeral for all these parties. You're starting to see them biting the heads off of each other, so to speak, metaphorically. And, well, let's take a listen. Even Thomas Mulcair weighs in on this. Let's take a listen.
Minister Dominic LeBlanc is responding to a column in the Globe and Mail that reported he's considering a run to replace Justin Trudeau as leader of the Liberal Party. It was a surprising report because LeBlanc is known as one of the Prime Minister's closest friends and allies, but it was also detailed in laying out that a meeting took place, a decision was taken at that meeting to start the groundwork for a bid to replace the Prime Minister. Today on Parliament Hill, CTV's Jordan Gowling asked the minister if the report was true.
Do you plan to run for Liberal leader?
No, I plan to be a candidate in the next election under Prime Minister Trudeau's leadership. I'm very happy. I'm excited about that. I'm focused on the responsibilities he gave me. It's a big job. I'm enjoying it, and I'm optimistic that our team and the Prime Minister will make the case to Canadians as to why we should be re-elected.
Have you been having discussions, though, about a potential run in the near future?
I've answered that.
Do you think the Prime Minister should resign?
So you are not organizing, sir, correct?
So that's the word, sort of, from Public Safety and Intergovernmental Affairs Minister Dominic LeBlanc. Has he thrown enough cold water on the story to assuage suspicions, or could a Liberal leadership challenge be in the works? Let's bring back the front bench to talk about that. Christy Clark, John Tory, and Tom Mulcair. On that question of whether he threw enough cold water, I'll just point out that the story came out last night. We certainly directly asked his office for a reply. None came until this exchange today. What do you read into any of that, Tom?
I read Lawrence Martin is one of the most credible people writing on the Hill and has been for many, many years. He would not put pen to paper unless he had something solid. I know him, and I know that to be the case. I also noticed that Dominic LeBlanc said, I've already answered that, but actually he hadn't answered that part of the question as to whether or not meetings had taken place. He arrived and he delivered. Anybody who's been in politics will tell you how this works. You're getting ready, you've got good staff, they're saying, okay, say that you're with the Prime Minister, that you've got a great job, that you're there for the next, just run through this. So they gave him the 4 or 5 things, and he just stood there and he delivered it. It was very rote. So obviously something's going on. Dominic LeBlanc is one of Trudeau's closest friends and strongest supporters, and he deserves that recognition. He's also the guy that they'll give anything to. He'll go in front of the cameras and he'll this guy's taken so many bullets for everybody over the years. When something goes south, he's the guy. He's got good hands, to use a sports expression. But at the same time, it hurt his credibility sometimes. I can't see him going for this, but the only condition I'd put on that is that maybe he would if he were there on an interim basis. In other words, he became the replacement for Trudeau during the leadership race on the condition that he not be one of the candidates. That would seem to me to be a possibility. But I don't see Dominic LeBlanc. He went through a really serious health issue not that long ago. Is he really going to put himself through the grind? And I can tell you it's a grind of trying to lead a national party. I don't see it, but we'll follow through. There was obviously something there. No. there's a little bit of smoke there. There's obviously a fire there somewhere, but we'll find out more details soon.
So what is discussed here? And one thing that Thomas Mulcair mentions that I want to point out, and while I'm pointing that out, I also want to apologize for the clip with Trudeau. That again, the audio was really bad. I've been told by inside sources that a lot of sites are doing this now. That when government people are putting out TikToks, when they're on these news conferences, that they're sometimes making the audio a little gruffer or putting in licensed music so that people like myself aren't using their clips in videos so that they get struck down. So again, I tried to do everything I can with that audio, and I apologize if it's a little scratchy or a little echoey, but hey, I'm working with what we got. But when it comes to Thomas Mulcair, he proves a very good point that there is smoke, and you can see it when Dominic LeBlanc answered that question. Now, I'm not suggesting that Dominic is going to replace Justin Trudeau, but rather that the knives could be coming out, that there definitely could be meetings in return of getting rid of or ousting Justin Trudeau, because you can see in his speech or his answer or rapport when he's asked about potentially replacing Justin Trudeau, or have there been meetings, that again, he gives a very scripted response. And then when they say, so there's no plans, there's no attack going on, or whatever it is, they said there's no motion moving forward, he refused to answer. So while it may not be LeBlanc, as Thomas Mulcair points out, I definitely think that there are meetings being held. I think that the Liberals are definitely getting impatient with Justin Trudeau because the pressure is on, and what they have to decide at this point is the same thing that I mentioned about Jagmeet Singh with the NDPs. Are the entire party willing to go down with the ship in order for Justin Trudeau to take his fabulous payout and leave as exiting Prime Minister of Canada, while the rest of the party is essentially driven down to non-existence and the Conservatives pick up more seats in the next federal election? This is damage control at its finest. And again, as these things develop, I will be bringing those to the channel. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think there's talks in the background of Justin Trudeau stepping down? Again, this isn't necessarily by his will. I think it's the will of the party and those who have a little bit of push in that party to recommend that he leave. Give me your comments down below. And if it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure as you're hitting that button, turn on your bell for notifications. Join me live here every Friday night on the channel for Friday Night Fringe at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, where we go over a lot of stuff like this and we have some back and forth with the community. It's always great to talk to you guys outside of making these videos. And in fact, I look forward to it more than anything else out of the week. It's always the best time to sit down. I love hearing what you guys have to say. I hope to see each and every one of you there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.